We had the most amazing trip to Portland, Oregon. I would highly recommend it if you have a long weekend. We stayed for about 4 days, which was the perfect amount of time to go hiking and biking and exploring all sorts of nature out in Portland. Our first hike was at Dog Mountain, which I was silly and asked for a very, very steep hike, and it is probably one of the steepest hikes that I've done. And there's even a point where you can split off and you can choose the more challenging trail, and we of course had to choose that trail to go on. So it definitely is a good hike, and if you want to pace yourself and not race up it, it is amazing. It has beautiful wildflowers at the top, and it has a nice spot that you can hang out and just enjoy the beautiful views. This is an out and back hike. It is about 3.5 miles out and 3.5 miles back. I would recommend bringing walking poles or get a walking stick. I don't usually use them, but I think it's definitely recommended for this hike. They also had beautiful butterflies at the top that were super friendly. The next day we went to the Rowena Outlook, which had beautiful views, and luckily the car did most of the hiking because I wasn't so sure that my legs could after Dog Mountain. After Rowena Outlook, on the way back we went to Multnomah Falls, which actually, because there were quite a lot of damage done in the fires, you can't actually hike. You can only go to this little spot where you can take really cool pictures and see the beautiful waterfalls. So it wasn't exactly the hike we were looking for, but if you're looking for beautiful falls and just a little tourist area and a little walk from the car, it's a great spot to check out. The falls are only about a 45-minute drive from Portland in the downtown area, so renting a car would probably be your best bet in general, but this was also a fairly close hike, whereas Dog Mountain and Rowena were a little bit further, maybe a couple hours from downtown Portland. We went during the Rose Festival, which meant that there were fireworks, and the fireworks display right by the bridge downtown was amazing. We were so close and the fireworks were falling just right over us, so it was definitely worth the trek down there. And we actually came a little late, right at the last minute, and we got to park and then see the fireworks and then leave. So the traffic wasn't too bad. We were a little bit worried about that, but you could park right downtown. It wasn't a problem. One thing we found with Portland was that it was a very early city, so everything pretty much closed early, and even people would go out to dinner early. It's especially different than what I'm used to in Puerto Rico, so that was a surprise. But if you're getting up early for hikes and not really looking for too much nightlife, then Portland is definitely a great place for you to go visit. We had the most amazing couch surfers who took us to Mount St Helen, which has 160 active volcanoes. So we got to enjoy a great car ride with their amazing little puppy, and we also got to go for hikes around Mount St Helen. There are actually a ton of hikes that you can do. We chose one that was a little bit shorter. It was a 3-mile hike. It was an out and back. But they actually have hikes up to 18 miles or even multiple day hikes. One thing that was pretty cool about Mount St. Helen was that they have a lot of, you can still see the damage from the last time the volcano erupted in the 80s. So they actually had mining equipment that was mining the logs that got destroyed in the eruption, and we actually had a little too much fun, I think, playing around on the mining equipment. But it was really cool to see that. It was unlike anything I've really seen before. And the hike itself was a little bit challenging, but I think any hike that's worthwhile is, because when you get to the top, the views were just spectacular of the lake and of the surrounding mountain area. It was actually a lot of fun. It was a little chilly, so we definitely needed our sweaters and jackets for this one. We wanted to give our legs a break, so we decided to go on a bike ride, a 20-mile bike ride, to the Rose Gardens downtown, which actually were really, really pretty. I love outdoors and nature, and if you love that type of thing, then you would really appreciate the roses at this rose garden. They were unlike anything I've seen before. One of the coolest parts was being able to see the snow-capped mountains that were off in the distance. So it was actually really warm out, but you could see Mount Hood and a couple of the other mountains that were snow-capped as we drove around this area. And this is Mount St. John's Bridge, which was one of the most photographed bridges in the area. And the two best things in Portland were the food trucks and the Stripperoke. So the food trucks have amazing food, vegan food, and all sorts of options. And Stripperoke is a way that someone can sing karaoke and also watch strippers strip to the song. So they actually adjust their moves and outfits to the song that is playing. They actually are very, very talented, and so even if you're not into going to strip clubs, it was definitely some of the best talent I've ever seen. Unfortunately, we had to say goodbye to Portland, but we will definitely go back. It was a lot of fun, and I would highly recommend it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel to see all the exciting new places I'm about to head.